Has social competence eroded?
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Right, kia ora. We are back with Rose. We're talking more Kura Club today, but we're going to focus on social competence because there's two key parts around, te whāriki especially, but also in the run into school, social and emotional competence are real determiners of their upfront success. Yeah. And that's not just an opinion I've formed. That's actually Rose and I's experience as new entrants teachers. What I did find was that when children who were socially and emotionally competent, that didn't matter that they couldn't read or write or whatever, they were absolutely ready to learn. Yeah. So let's start with social competence. Let's define social competence.
So I think it's giving children strategies on how to manage social situations, because they are going to be in situations with new children, new teachers, new environments, and how do you navigate that as a 5-year-old? Mm-hmm. What strategies can you use when you are feeling a little bit unsure about who to get help from, how you're feeling, how can you express your ideas, how can you listen to other people's ideas, how can you collaborate and communicate, like all those.
Stay away.
Yeah, all those strategies, and it's quite it's a lot of learning, and it's a lot of it's going to continue once they get into school as well, obviously, and probably throughout their life as adults.
Yes.
And
yes.
As you come over new situations, but it's a huge foundation skill to be able to go into a new environment and understand how you can navigate it and those around you in a safe way for
with a high probability of success.
Yes. Yeah.
And so when we talk about social competence as an adult, it's things like giving way at roundabouts. It's like
waving when someone gives
moving aside.
Yeah.
Moving aside on a footpath when you see someone coming who might be a bit older, or or they got kids or something. Or
even being able to engage in conversations that have a direction, I suppose, and that you are able to communicate your ideas and thoughts and feelings and know that the other person is understanding what you're saying. Yes. And that you can do the same to them. You can receive their information and process it, and kind of that informs the way that you're going to engage with that person and that you're going to work alongside them. It's very...
Has social competence eroded? Because take this. The question. The reason I bring the question up is because you know me. I'm quite talkative, and so this morning I saw a guy who was he was wearing a certain hat, and I was like, "Oh, nice hat, man!" And he looked at me like
trying to figure out if you were being serious, sarcastic.
And I was like, "No, it's serious," because when I was a kid, blah blah, and I told him a story about it. About my aunt's kid giving me this hat, and he said, "Oh, nice." Sweet, bro. Yeah. But the initial thing wasn't to be like, thanks. Or it was straight away met with
suspicion.
Is this guy being sarcastic?
Yeah.
Is he? And I think with children, when we're trying to help them have success in social situations, and the best one is trying to involve themselves in play. Mm-hmm. That's a big one, especially when there's a new group. There's a group and there's a new
incoming
person.
Yeah.
So scenario one is I'm with a group of children. A new child comes in, and I have the social competence to be, would you like to play?
Yeah.
Or, would you like some of this? Would you like some kai? Would you like whatever? And then the other side is being the person or the child coming in and having the ability to initiate. Hey, would you mind if I play?
Without walking in and pushing them aside and snatching.
Which is often what can happen. Yeah. And especially as we're talking through 5-year-olds, we do see that, or we don't. And as a result, it can mar their success at school, because the child that comes in and pushes everyone and things, he or she could get isolated for a start. He appears to start not tolerating that sort of stuff, right? So what are some of the coaching, or how do we coach some of those skills in Kura Club?
So I'd just like to say, the Ngāhi Raka spaces do that in their rooms.
Yes.
They are.
Sorry,
That's,
yes,
that's a
we should
huge
be
part.
acknowledging,
Yeah, that's
yes.
like a huge part of our day to day is actually coaching that in those situations, in the moment, in those rooms with those children. And it's something you can't really like set up for. You just coach it in the moment.
You have to see it. Yeah.
And then you obviously those strategies just kick in naturally because you're a preschool teacher and that's where all the learning happens. But in Kura Club, there are like group conversations and group learning that are happening where we are facilitating those conversations too and including those children that maybe need a little bit more encouragement and the kids that are really eager to share, getting them to slow down and wait for others and that kind of stuff, just in a smaller group setting and with the types of activities that are being done, really diving into those and giving them in time and being really intentional with those children that need those need to practice those strategies.
And the use of a small group in a setting that's not necessarily facilitated entirely by the teacher, but they're in a small group situation, it does mimic what they will see at school too.
Yeah.
So there is the parallels there of school into our theatre of education. But just talk us through when you see a child who, because that's a good one, you gave a good example of who's so eager to share, and they want to just, you can imagine that was me.
And me.
Yeah, just wants to.
Anyway,
I've
but
got so
Rose.
much to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, what does that look like in a coaching scenario for you, the facilitator, in there?
So I think, well, I had an example this morning when I was in the NAR room actually. It's just actually listening to that child and being like, that is a really awesome idea. You've like, thank you for sharing with us. I wonder if anybody else had, like, so you're giving them space and the time to express what they need. And then you're asking them to now give someone else a chance to have a turn.
And the thing is that it's the consistency of that message sees incremental growth in that as well. I think we've got to be clear on that, because if a child's come out of being the only child or the oldest child, and they are used to having their voice heard all the time, we're now asking them to socially practice in ways that allow others to be that, because it could be a combination of a whole group of kids that are
And
all in
sometimes
that space.
it's even just one sentence like, I know that you're ready to share. I'm going to give Ray a turn, and then we're going to come straight back to you,
Yes.
because I know that you're really ready to share your idea.
Yes.
And even just saying that, they're like, oh, okay, she sees me, she hears me, she knows that I'm ready.
Quite frankly, Courtney does it to me.
I hear you, Ray, but
But the coaching, and let's just talk a little bit about what you're saying about in the rooms. It's not something you go out and actively facilitate. You are
just
looking
happening,
for
yeah.
opportunities to coach in that space.
Yeah.
So a good one is there's a group playing and a child is trying to interject. They might have come in negatively. What is the role then that the teacher's seeing to help in that social competence
I
space?
think it's, depending on the age and stage of their development, often it can be facilitating the language. Like we can see as an adult that they are trying to engage and play, but maybe they don't have the words to be like, hey guys, can I come and play? Like, this looks cool. What are you doing? They can't, like 2-year-olds can't, well, some of them won't be able to articulate that. So it's asking them like, hey Ray, do you want to play? Like, we're playing this game. Would you like to see? I've got some of this. Like, it's modelling that in front of those other children too, and they see you doing that. And you can include them in that as well. You can be like, Sammy, can you give Ray one of the cars? You've got 3 there. Do you think Ray can have one? And it's facilitate. Then you'll start to hear them do it themselves.
Yes.
Soon, is that?
So you're talking about language acquisition there. Traditionally, girls do have greater grasp on language. Traditionally, I'm not saying that as a fact or a stat. What are some of the challenges though in a situation where they do have the language yet they're still not able to socially engage or involve themselves in that space?
Then you'd be, probably it comes down to understanding of that child. Is it a confidence thing? Are they not feeling confident in a group setting to be able to use that language? So do they need to have you help them again by assuming and talking for them, but checking with them that you've got it right, like asking them if that's what they are trying to do, if that is the intention behind their behaviour or what they're doing. Often it can be confidence, or it can just be a complete, they just don't know what to do.
Yes.
It's an unknown. They don't know.
This is a foreign situation for them.
So then again, it comes back to that modelling. It comes back to using those like really simple strategies of just trying to put yourself in their shoes and figuring out if you were that little child that really wants to get involved with their friends but doesn't know how to, what would help you? And often it's actually quite simple solutions. You just need to slow down and be present with that group of kids or that child, and you'll be able to figure it out quite instinctively. They let you know what they need.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I mean,
language though,
yes.
when we went into the schools, that was a big feedback, was that they've noticed oral language has actually decreased. Children's, I suppose the amount of oral language they have and the ability that they have to have conversations has generally declined recently. So that's something else that we're intentionally putting into our Kura Club, is making sure that every activity we're doing involves talking and that backwards and forwards conversation, not just listening, but actually being able to take on those ideas and form an opinion or make or share their thoughts on something, because that's probably not happening maybe as much in society.
Sitting around a table at dinner talking. There's devices.
I think it's just the fast pace of life, right? And screens and So really,
not that we're not passing judgment on it. It's just it is what it is. I mean, I'm sure when TVs came in, it probably generated. But the reality is, oral language is a real gateway to success, because it allows children and adults obviously to ask for what they want, to articulate their frustrations or their shortcomings. And ultimately improve the probability of success when it comes back down to it.
Because those were probably the big three, was language, social competence and emotional awareness. And without language, you can't really...
It's very hard to access.
The social and emotional side of things, kind of like the language is a building block for that, to be able, because communication is really the way that you can express your emotions and the way that you can involve yourself in social situations. Without your language, it's actually quite tricky.
Yes.
It's not impossible, but it's just a bit trickier. So
absolutely.
those are the big three that at the Kura Club are really diving into, is our feelings, what they are, how physically they make us feel, how we can identify them, and what strategies we have if we're feeling really worried about something, if we're feeling really angry about something. What does it feel like, and how can I manage that myself? And if I can't manage it myself, who can help me?
Yes.
So those are Kura Club: emotional awareness, social competence, and oral language. But through the children's interests and at their level.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, Rose.